Hello, welcome to Mr. Pell's class. Today we're having a lesson that's brought to you by Let's Be Rational. We're going to do lesson 3.1, dividing a fraction by a fraction today. This is going to be part one of two different videos for 3.1. So, let's start with our first problem. How many 1/8 pound patties can she make from 7/8 pound of hamburger? So what do we know from that problem? We know that she's going to start with 7/8 of a pound. So that's going to be our number that we're starting with. And then we're going to split it, or break it up, or I'm going to use the word divide it into 1/8 size pieces. So there's my number sentence. I'm going to solve this using a model. Let's pretend that's 1 pound of burger. And we're not going to need a whole burger. How much do we need? We need 7/8 of it. So the best way for me to find 7/8 is to actually split it into eighths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So I have 8 pieces here. They're not the correct size. I'm not that great of a drawer. But we know if this is 1 pound, we only want 7/8 of this. We want 7/8. So we're not even going to count that last part. So now we have, right here, we have 7/8. Now, we also know that each piece is going to be 1/8 because we broke the whole thing into 8/8 here. So, and that's kind of convenient because in our answer, or in our problem, they're saying, how many 1/8 size pieces can we have? And we already have one here, so let's count them together. If all of these pieces in my model are 1/8, we're going to have one piece right here. Here's 1/8. We have a second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, sixth one, seventh one. So we have 7 1/8 size pieces, so the answer would be 7. Now, the other day in class, I had one of the students asking me, Mr. Pell, why can't we just use the same procedure that we use in the multiplication of fractions? You know, that's one where numerator times numerator and denominator times denominator gives me the numerator, and this gives me the denominator. I wrote that wrong. So let's try that. But let's use division. 7/8 divided by 1/8. And we're going to divide straight across. So 7 divided by 1 is 7. And 8 divided by 8 is going to be 1. So the answer is going to be 7. But there's one last thing. We are not done because the answer is actually 7 1/8 pound patties. We need to label it. So we can get 7 1/8 pound patties. Now, if you understand what I did in this problem by drawing the table, drawing my number line, or just doing the procedure, please stop the video and move on to the next problem. Do that one on your own. When you're done, please watch the next section of the video and then see how well you did. Moving on. Next question is, how many 2/8 pound burgers can she make from 7/8 pound of hamburgers? Very similar numbers to the last problem. 7/8 divided by 2/8. Because we have, starting with this much total, we want to break them into or divide them into this size pieces. And we'll finish that later. So drawing my model. And crossing out that last one because we don't need it, remember? Because this is my 7/8 right there. Now, we also remember from the last problem that this is going to be 1/8. But in this one, we want 2/8 size pieces. So, looking at my model, I know that this section and this section, 1/8 plus 1/8, that's going to be 2/8. So that would mean that this would also be 2/8. This would also be 2/8. And this part right here, that's only half of 2/8. Because we only have one out of the 2 pieces. So that means I have 1, 2, 3, and 1/2. So my answer is going to be 3 1/2. Now let's do the procedure. Do it down here. 7/8 divided by 2/8. Now, this one's a little tricky. 7 divided by 2. We know that 6 divided by 2 is 3. 8 divided by 2 is 4. So 7 divided by 2 would be 3 1/2. And 8 divided by 8 is going to be 1. So that means our answer is going to be 3 1/2. 3 1/2, but we need to label it. So we're going to make 3 1/2 2/8 pound patties. If you followed along and you think you got it now, please turn off the video. Try the last problem on your own. If not, please follow along, write your notes as I go. If I'm going too fast, please stop the video and make sure you get your notes down so that we know what you're doing when we come back to class. Last video for this section, a teacher brings 2 3/4 pounds of hamburger. So now we have a much bigger number to make 1/4 pound patties. So we're making 1/4 pound patties. So let's start with my big number, or the part that we're going to break up, 2 3/4. And we're going to divide that into 1/4 pound patties. This one's going to be a little bit different because here's a mixed number. So my model is going to be a mixed number also. Here's 1 pound. UND. Here's another pound. So there's my 2 holes. And then I need 3/4. So I have 1/4, 2/4, 3/4, and this last part we're not going to think about. We're going to just get rid of it. So we have 1 pound, another pound, and then 3/4 of this last one. And now we want to divide this into 1/4 size pieces. We already know that this bottom one down here, this is 1/4, this is 1/4, and this is 1/4. That's already broken up. So now we need to know how many fourths are in these 2 pieces here. And it'd be easy just to break them into fourths. There's 4 pieces. So this is 1/4. All the rest are 1/4. Same over here. This is going to be 1/4. Now we could just count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So now we have 11. Ooh, got rid of that. 11 fourths. We have 11 1/4 size pieces. So I have 11 1/4 pound patties. Let's try this procedure-wise. Let's see what we get here. We have 2 3/4 divided by 1/4. Now, with multiplication of fractions, a lot of times we would try to turn this into a mix, and it is a mixed number, turn it into an improper fraction. So let's do that here. And if you remember the procedure, it's going to be the denominator times the integer out front, and then you're going to add it to the top. So 4 times 2 is 8, plus 3 is 11. So this turns into 11/4 divided by 1/4. And we know that 11 divided by 1 is 11. We know that 4 divided by 4 is 1. So we have 11 here, and we have 11 up here. So thank you for watching. If you have any questions, please come see me up in class. And we're going to get started on the second section, and that will be in part 2 video coming out shortly. Thank you for watching.